Hello, and welcome back at another tutorial about the Korg Pa5X. In this tutorial we are going to take a look at how to set up your own keyboard sounds, and I will give you some examples about the included synthesizer that's on board and how to use that. I'm not going to show you how to program your own sounds in the synthesizer in this tutorial. If you want that, just leave a comment below and let me know what kind of sounds you would like to learn to program. When you start your Korg Pa5X for the first time, you will see a screen similar like this, and the sounds that you are going to play are based on keyboard sets. And you can find it over here in the section. It's now saying Austrian Grand, and it's basically connected to these four elements in the keyboard section over here. If you want to see what kind of sounds are available, then you can press the keys tab. And you will see that in the upper one button, the Austrian Grand is loaded. The Austrian Grand effects are in upper 2. Blend a subpad in upper 3. And for the lower sounds, the movie strings are there. If they are activated, they are highlighted green. So you have a visual representation of what's active or not. And you can also see it over here. The highlighted buttons are active. So what is a keyboard set? Well, basically it's a combination of 3 sounds for your upper keys and 1 sound for your lower keys. In this case it's a piano and the effects. So if we disable the piano, then we only hear the effects, and if we enable the piano again, it's added on top of that specific element. And if you want the pad sound in this one, just activate the upper 3 and now the pad is added to that sound. So if you want to create your own sounds, then you have to set up your own set of sounds that work well together. And you can select sounds from a huge library of factory sounds in the sound mode. You can access them by pressing the upper 1, upper 2 or upper 3 elements, according to where you want to have them loaded. So let's load up a sound in the Austrian Grand. If we click that one, you are coming in the factory sound engine. It's also set sound. And these are all the solo sounds that are in your Pa5X in the factory section. The legacy are the sounds from the previous models. You have a GM section. And in the user section you can program your own sounds and add them to your Pa5X. So let's say that we don't want a piano, but we want a guitar with a string beneath it. So we go to the guitar section and select one of the guitars. Well, let's just use the steel guitar for instance. So, and now it's loaded in upper 1. And in upper 2 we are going to load a pad sound. So press the upper 2, go to the Synth Pad category and load one of the default pad sounds. And now you don't hear it, so we have to activate it. Or this one. So that's a way to build your own keyboard sets by doing it this way. Now there is one drawback of this that you need to know. If we for instance load up a sound like a overdrive guitar, and we do the same trick, we are going to load a different kind of sound in that. For instance a piano again. Let's load up a default upright piano. Now it will sound like nothing. The piano also is distorted, and not the piano sound, which was from the, and not the piano sound which it was originally. And this is because you load sounds in the keyboard set that is active and that has effects assigned to them. So if we are going to look to the mixer and we press this button over here, you will see that in the Master FX there is a overdrive simulator loaded in FX2 and a reverb hall in section 1, because the keyboard sets is all going to route to the Master FX B, and the insert effects are also use for that. And we don't want that. We want a piano with that specific sound that it was originally. So the thing to do then is go to that upright piano again, select a different one, and now activate that menu button and say, hey, I want to use the Master FX for this specific keyboard set and the IFX for the next part that I load. So now I've loaded the upright piano and now it sounds okay. And the distortion is gone, and that's because it now copied the settings from the original sound. So that's something you need to remember, and you only have to do this for your main sound, because that's the rest is, you only have one Master FX section for the whole complete master keyboard. So if you do that only for upper one, then you will always have the correct sound. Now when you created your keyboard set, just press save, save keyboard to style, and you can save it anywhere in the user area. I liked it in my own bank, and you can create your own banks by pressing this button and create a new bank. And you select that bank and give it a new name, and it will press save and it will be added there. So that's how it works. That's the keyboard sets. And on the Korg Pa5X you had a button that was called sound mode, that you only play with the solo sounds and not using the styles or keyboard sets at all. And that button isn't available anymore on the Pa5X, and I really don't understand why they removed that button. But the functionality is still there. The only thing you have to do now is that you press the Rec Edit button and then go to Sound Edit, and now you have that specific Pa5X screen again. So that's a shortcut to that specific feature. And you can now select the pianos, the guitars, and it will also load the correct effects with them. So here you can audition the sounds that you are going to use and how they sound in the way they were intended to sound. Okay, another really interesting part is the user area. And here you can program your own sounds, and I've programmed a lot of sounds already in them. I've transferred some of the Pa5X sounds, but they weren't converted correctly. So I have to modify them again on the Pa5X. It wasn't hard, but it was some work. And you still have those same sounds. So these sounds are all based on the factory sounds, and you can program them yourself in the included synthesizer. So it's, well, once you know the trick, it's really easy to program these things yourself. So again, if you want that, just leave a comment and let me know what kind of sounds you want to learn. And the other thing you can do, and that is really a nice feature, is adding sounds based on your own samples. You can add your own source material, your own sample material to it. And can use that in the synthesizer to create your own sounds. And that is where it really gets interesting, because you can make your core sound like anything you want, because you load your own samples in it. And I've created a few examples for this demo. So let me start with the God's Bathtub. It's a famous sound from the Korg Triton. I've sampled it from the Korg Triton and added it into the Pa5X. And it sounds like this. to ambient like I am. It's also nice to add ambient pianos to it, something like this. So really nice piano sound, really soft, really different also as the factory pianos. So a nice addition to my arsenal of sounds on the Pa5X. Also the more ambient type of sounds, the really ambient type of things, something like this. This sound, and these are all solo sounds, and you can combine them in the keyboard sets, and I will give an example in a minute. And you have the macro edit of it, so that also gives you some possibilities to alter your sound and also the factory sounds really easily by just moving these kind of buttons, and they are also bound to your faders. So let me give an example. If I lower the cutoff, the sound will get darker. If I add some resonance to it, you hear those resonance elements coming up. And just really nice. And we can modify the filter by using the LFO depth, speed. And if you do this really subtle, like for instance a 7, 6, 7 and 5 for instance. Slow speed, only a minor effect on the Glacier. Now you have some analog type of movement in your static sounds. Let me set the cutoff correctly. It will move a little bit. You hear it moving now. So I exaggerated it now, but if you do these things subtle, then you can get really nice sounds of it. Well, I have a lot of sounds and also things like wave sequencing. I also have a Korg wave state where you can do wave sequence sounds, which basically are samples cross-faded into each other to create a unique pad. The heavenly flutes, yeah, also really nice. Let me give an example in the keyboard sets when you are going to combine them in your own keyboard sets. Let me find something like the wave sequence type of pad now I just mentioned about. Yeah, it's over here. And this wave sequence pad has the wave sequence pad, the piano, and a extra Korg pad beneath it to make it more in line. And when we are going to play with this one, this is basically all kind of samples cross-fading into each other, and you can do that in the synthesizer. So there's a lot of things happening now in your Korg Pa5X. And we had that Mystic piano. Add a extra beneath it. So that's the power of painting with your sounds. You can create all kind of colors in your Pa5X, just whatever you have in mind, and create those kind of things. This is also a nice example, Dolphins Dream. So you can set up your keyboard sets in lots of different ways. So I have so many sounds to show, but it doesn't have to be all kind of wet sounds or ambient. You can also activate really dry sounds like this. So these kind of things you can do. Souvenir Pad. This is also possible in the Korg Pa5X. You can create those sounds with the internal factory sets. So basically I showed you some of the keyboard sets, how to set up your keyboard set, that you can create your own sounds or select the solo sounds in by pressing the Rec Edit button and go to Sound Edit mode. You can select your sounds over here. Go to the factory settings, and there are a lot of factory sounds that aren't in keyboard sets, so you can create really nice combinations of them yourself to use in your styles. You can create your own user sounds. You can use the factory samples for that, but you can also add your own samples, and you can program your own sounds yourself if you want to program it. Just create one of your select one of the factory sounds. For instance, the Austrian Grand. Now you have that sound. Go to the menu and select Initialize Sound. And now everything is set to default and you will get... And by pressing the menu button over here, you come in the internal synthesizer. And if you want to know how to do this yourself, I can explain it to you in a separate tutorial, but then I need to know what kind of sounds you want to learn how to program. That's it for now, and hope this helps, and see you in the next tutorial.